Have you always wanted to start your own business? Do you have an innovative idea or an invention, but just don't know how to turn it into a company? Are you already in business and need some help growing? The BRF's Entrepreneurial Accelerator Program can help. At EAP, we work alongside you, helping you with things like financial modeling, funding strategy, pitch preparation, and marketing strategy. So what are you waiting for? Go to eapla.com today and set up a time to talk with our team. Let EAP help you launch or grow your business in North Louisiana today.
Welcome back to On the Cusp. I got Matt Snyder back with me, and I'm really excited today because we've got Erica Gilliam with Streetcar Snoballs.
Yes, thanks for having me, guys.
I know, thanks. We've been getting warmed up here talking,
Yeah.
so we've had a really good conversation. Tell us about you and what is Streetcar Snoballs?
Okay, so Streetcar Snowballs it started, in 2016, I guess, and it started in a trailer. It started because I was actually going to be finishing up a grant that I worked in health and exercise science. So I had a background in health and exercise science, and my grant was ending, and it was like, oh my gosh, where am I going to go from here? And woke up one day from a dream and told my husband, I had the craziest dream that I need to sell snowballs out of a streetcar. And of course, you can imagine he was like, oh, please don't. He knows me, and he's like, let's not go that route. Oh my goodness, this is going to be crazy. And I said, no, I need to do this. I was told that I have to do this in this dream. So I went around, I looked for a trailer. I found a trailer that had every single thing that was needed for a New Orleans snowball business. So it had the New Orleans machine, it had the ice chest, everything in there that I needed to start the snowball business. And I decided to bring it here because, it's different. A snowball
It is different, but
versus,
why is it different?
Yes.
Why snowballs?
Okay, so snowballs is very soft shaved ice. So it's almost like powder when it comes out of the machine. If you do it right, if you use the right machine and you're able to work it properly, it comes out like powder, and all of the flavor sits at the top of the snowball. In a snow cone, it's crunchy ice, and the flavor falls to the bottom. So when people come in and they ask me, what's the difference, I try to explain to them, and they're like, oh, I don't know about that. And then it's that first bite.
If you ever try it, you'll actually love it.
And growing up in New Orleans, that's what we had. So when I came here, I was like, what is a snow cone? I've never heard of that before. So I said, we need to have a snowball here. And it's,
Yeah,
now
you did the whole thing too.
Yes.
Your trailer had the look from the start.
Yes.
And we worked together pretty early, I think, like on a crawfest.
Yes.
And it was, I remember, and I love this because we all, I remember when I started my business, you really, looking back, I really didn't know what I was doing in those shirts. And I remember helping you move your trailer, and you're pulling that trailer, and we're driving down that path, and I'm like,
she's not going to do
should we
this.
put the window on this side?
Yeah.
And it was, but to look at where you are now, I always think that those early years are what shaped you.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
Tell some stories or the getting started. You're driving that trailer around town.
Well, my favorite stories are in the beginning when I pull up to an event and there's, typically men running the event, and they're like, ma'am, do you need help pulling that trailer? I'm like, nope, I got this. I don't need your help. I can do it. But I think that was probably the biggest roadblock for me, was trying to figure out how to back up a trailer.
Right.
I
it's
bet
hard.
you can put that trailer anywhere now.
Yes, I'm pretty proud to say I can probably put it anywhere now. But in the beginning, no. I've scratched, the side of my trailer before. I've had, just men walk up to me and hey, wait, do you use your mirrors or do you look back behind? I'm like, why does that matter? What do you mean? And it's just funny that they don't expect a girl to be able to pull a trailer.
I've seen you do it, and you do it really well. Okay.
Yeah.
You go into neighborhoods sometime during the summer, and you set up and you put that trailer wherever you want it.
Yes.
So that's pretty important. But you're more than a trailer now.
Yes, I am. I'm more than a trailer, and I never, ever expected to be. I always said from the start, I am never going to do a storefront. And it's one of those things where I was driving down the East Bank 2 years earlier than when I opened my business, 2 years earlier, and I would spot the spot on the corner where I have now, and I would say, that corner could look like a streetcar. I could paint the front of that building to look like a streetcar. And I would drive by, like, you know, every once in a while. And finally, it was one of those things where I just felt like inclined to just make a phone call. And I said, I need to figure out who owns that building. And I figured it out. And that same day, I had a meeting with the owner of the building. And he was like, we're ready when you are.
That's awesome.
And I was like, I just feel like, I mean, I guess this is my calling, you know. I'm supposed
things
to
just kind of, you know,
sell
you
snowballs.
worked it. Because, I mean, originally your model was multiple trailers.
Yes, and I do. I have two more. So I actually have two franchisees now. One's in Florida, in Emerald Coast, which is like the 30A area.
Yeah.
And then I have another Shreveport location too, that she has her own trailer now.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
there's
I think
three
the
of us.
trailer, you know, I've watched a lot of food truck people through the years and worked with them. That is a grind. That is a hard
It
deal.
Absolutely is. Yes.
Like people just think they're like you pull up in a food truck. That is a crazy hard way to start a business.
It totally is, and it's you worry about two different things. Like when you're in a trailer, you don't necessarily worry about staffing. When you're in a storefront, you're worried about staffing. Like just last week, I had one of my employees, you know, was sick, so I had to go in to work at the storefront. That was never the case in my trailer. I decided where I wanted to be, when I wanted to go, and now at the storefront, you have people who are looking at your hours, they're looking at their days open, and they expect you to be open, and they expect you to have staff, and it's like, well, I mean, yes, we want to be open, but it's a whole different.
So what was your biggest challenge
with
launching? You know, because everybody hesitates. Because I know when you started this, everybody was telling you, "Oh, you're not going to make money. Don't do this." And you know, you didn't listen to them.
Yes. No,
okay?
I did not. I did not. Well, and if
I knew the first time I met you. Okay, she's going to do this. Okay, all right. So let's help structure this.
Yes.
Okay, so it can be successful. What's the biggest challenge you think you had to overcome?
When I started, I think it was just the basic understanding that, you know, because in my mind I had this brand where I wanted to, it was all New Orleans, you know, I wanted to do everything New Orleans, the Streetcar, the Snoballs, I wanted to sell New Orleans products in there, and I think the biggest thing was trying to convince people up here, where we're in Texas, basically, is from what I learned.
There's a lot of truth in that.
Yes, that, you know, wait a minute, you wanna wrap that to look like to look like a streetcar. So it was really just getting people to be on my side, you know, like I know I can do this.
Yeah.
This is going to be really successful if you just believe in me, I guess. I believed in myself, but it was getting everyone else to understand and believe in me.
I say that all the time. Like,
you know,
probably my number one like advice to a young entrepreneur would be like, just block all that out and go.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
everybody wants to tell you. It's almost. I don't know if it's a Shreveport thing or everywhere thing, but people want to tell you it won't work.
Right. Well, and it's even kind of your friends. Like,
like everybody.
Yes.
My friends were the worst at telling me it wouldn't work.
Yes. I mean,
I tell you what, I tell everybody in EAP is not my job to kill your dream.
Yeah.
All right? I'm never going to do that, and nobody that's in BRF is going to tell you that. We're going to tell you, yes, it's going to be hard, and you're going to slug it out, okay? But if you stick with it,
that kind of gives you the to fight harder.
Definitely, definitely.
Especially when it's your friends. It's the people, you know, you're at the baseball game, right? And you're there, and they go, oh, that must be hard.
I'm always just thinking like, dude, go back and work your bank job. I'm going to build this.
Yes.
I mean, that's probably not very popular.
But the fact that you franchised, you know, already franchised 2 out, you've got a storefront, okay? That's a pretty successful story right there. Well, and you did it right there in Bossier.
I did. And really, though, it was, you know, I was fortunate I happened to look at, I was following Louder at the time, and I saw that they were, you know, involved in the EAP program, and I happened to reach out to y'all. So, I mean, it was really EAP, too, that helped me kind of make sure that I was on the right track with where I wanted my business model to go. So, at the time, it was franchise. It was never storefront. So I really feel like EAP it helped a whole lot to be able to help me.
But you're a smart lady, and you pivoted at the right time. Plus, and here's something that to your credit, COVID did not slow you down.
It hurt. Not. Yeah, it actually, no, let me stop you. So if we're being real here, COVID did not hurt me at all in the trailer because people were stuck at their houses. So I would go.
That's right, because my girls went to, you were in the neighborhood over, and the girls and I went over to get
well, and if
a Snowball.
anything, COVID was probably the best thing for my business. I mean, I would pull up in a neighborhood, and I would be there for 3 hours, and I'd have a line all the way down a sidewalk.
I remember.
Because people were stuck in their houses.
Yeah.
They wanted to get their kids out. They wanted to, and it
turned out to be a community event when you were in our neighborhood.
Was. Yes,
okay.
it was.
I mean, everybody was out there. Yes, we were wearing masks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, not everybody.
Try to eat a Snowball with a mask on.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
One thing that you did that I always, from the minute I saw your Facebook, I remember when I saw your Facebook, you built a really strong branding and brand before anything. And I've always made the argument that Shreveport companies that take the time to take care of the details on the front end usually succeed.
Yes.
Can you talk about why that was important and the thought process of that?
So I mean, it's the branding to me was the biggest push. You know, I knew that I had to start off right away from the branding because number one, people didn't know what a Snowball was. And around here, especially when you look at the boardwalk, they have a trolley, which is different than the look of a streetcar. So, I mean, that was the main push. And then, you know, if you go to New Orleans, everyone has those white styrofoam cups with the Snowballs. I wanted to stand out a little bit more, so I have my little polka dot cups.
Right.
And when I'd be at Crawfest, for example, or other festivals, they'd see those cups and they would know that they were mine. So in addition to just having the brand of the streetcar and the Snowball, they saw my cups. So everything that I do, even when I go to, like when I had my storefront, I had to have my same cups. I have my photo op, the streetcar
awesome.
right there. So I think you literally cannot spend too much money on branding. It's so key, it's so important, and anything that I move doing forward, that is always going to be number one. If I can be in your place of business, or if you want me to come anywhere, I have to be able to bring my streetcar. I have to be able to design something to where when people walk by, they know, oh wait, that's the girl who was in the trailer.
Yeah.
You know, and it's cool to be able to know that I started from a trailer with that brand, you know.
Yeah.
And you didn't have a marketing background.
I did not. I did not have a marketing background.
My memory serves me correctly, you were kinesiology.
Yes.
Louisiana Tech. Okay.
Exercise science.
That's right.
Yes.
That was your history. And now you're into sugar.
I'm into sugar, yeah. So I went from health and wellness to sugar.
So, I mean, that in itself is a story right there. I mean.
Yes,
you brought something you loved from growing up.
I did.
You had the passion.
That's what's so cool to me about it is you had something you loved and that gave you a certain feeling and you brought it to your community you live in now. And I definitely think that's awesome.
If you were sitting at the table with a bunch of aspiring entrepreneurs.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
This is the hard question.
I know this is going to be a hard question.
This is a hard question. Okay, you're sitting there and they're all talking about their idea. And they ask you, what's the one piece of advice we could get from you? What would that be?
The one piece of advice
I would say is don't let somebody else
burn out your flame. Okay. So you know your passion and you know whether something is going to work or not. And I think other than that, you have to kind of get your foot in the door with certain people of that industry that you're working into and kind of get their feel. And I think that's where I didn't go that route. I went to my friends and some family, and rather than, maybe going to other food truckers or other, people. So, my initial was, I'm going to do this. This is going to be so fun. And they're like, really? Wait a minute. Okay. So I think it's still remember that you're going to hear negative feedback, but you just have to, just remember that that it's going to be successful or not.
And that's I'm going to say this before we go.
Yeah.
That's our claim. Stop telling people it's not going to work.
I know. Yeah.
If you're in this community that we live in, stop telling them that it's not going to work. Support people's ideas. It's not going to hurt you if it works or doesn't work. Let us try.
You're going to learn.
You're not helping any of us or our community by naysaying every idea that anybody has. We need ideas in this community. Support people that are taking the chance.
Let's give it a shot. So, what's next for Streetcar Snowballs?
Okay, so we just opened our storefront. It's Streetcar Station. So the Streetcar Snowballs is the trailer. Streetcar Station is the storefront. And so we've been open for a year. And we just recently expanded our indoor Nerf gun party place.
Wow.
So it's called the Swamp at Streetcar Station. So our logo is the Rougarou. So the Rougarou is the mystical swamp creature, basically in New Orleans.
Okay.
So again, it's all New Orleans branded. So we have our indoor Nerf gun party place. You can come and book a party. We do open play hours. So like during spring break, we'll open it up for the hour where parents can pay for their kids to come in for the hour and play. We provide all the Nerf guns, all the bullets. We have this really fancy eyewear that we use too. And it's just been so fun. One of those things where I never expected to do that, but having 2 little boys who always wanted to play Nerf, it was like,
you got tired of picking up the bullets in your own house. You're like, we're just going to do this
and
at
we
the
don't even
store.
pick them up at the store.
It's so much nicer than paintball, too.
Oh, I think so.
Some people want to do paintball, but I think I like the Nerf idea.
Yes,
and
yes.
doing
A
that.
Nerf place to go. I love this idea.
With snowballs.
Yes, with snowballs.
Yes.
So you get them all sugared up.
Yes.
Okay.
And they can
shoot
play.
each other with a
Yes.
Nerf gun.
Well, and it's
what a business model.
It was one of those things too, where during the off season, which the off season is kind of October through February for me, I needed some other way to supplement the sales and the income, and this has been amazing. Like being able to have kids come in and do birthday parties when it's cold outside.
And that is so key.
Yep, it's been great.
That discussion of how you diversified your model, okay, and made it
seasonal,
okay,
yeah.
okay, that is impressive. All right,
I think
way to go. Well, Erica, thank you for coming today.
You're welcome.
This has been so much fun.
It's been so much fun. I appreciate y'all letting me come.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And keep doing great things. Okay?
I hope so.